Good. So, Colin, nice to meet you.
Same here.
My name's Laurence, and your name's Colin?
Deakin.
Colin Deakin. Okay. And you were a miner.
I worked on the surface at Bentley Colliery.
The surface at Bentley Colliery, right?
Yeah.
Bentley's the quite famous one, isn't it? Lots of stories from Bentley.
Yes, yes.
And what were your dates? I know you said you couldn't remember much dates-wise.
Well, I started in 1964,
right.
and I worked for several years. I worked on the surface and the, where are we, on the picking belts.
Picking belts? What's a picking
Yes,
belt?
I started off on the picking belts. That was just where the raw coal came from the mine.
Right.
And,
So they call that pickings, do they?
yes, it's where you be taking scrap off, throwing dirt and middlings into a bin which went into a wagon.
What's a middling?
That is, middlings is a lump of rock with, well, it's coal with particles of dirt in it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And is that, I mean, are you doing that by hand?
Yes, that
So
was
it's like-
taken
it's
off
like
by
My
hand.
wife used to work on a pea line in Bird's Eye Pea Factory.
Yeah.
I used to pick out the bad peas. I mean, it's literally like a piece of coal. You can tell immediately that that coal's got dirt in it.
Yes.
And you hand pick it out.
They hand picked it out, threw it down a chute.
That's not your main job. That wasn't your main job.
No,
That's
I was on there for a while.
Yeah.
And then I ended up in the washers. Well, I went round then oiling and greasing then, keeping the
Oiling in English.
yes with a oil can, keeping the picking belts freely running.
Right.
Yeah, and taking up gearboxes, doing all that, going on. Yeah.
Gosh. So did you spend any time down at all down the
No.
mine?
No.
So the coal coming up, varying types, and do you have to go to training and train for all that, or did you learn on the spot?
You learn on the spot. Yeah. Then we went into the coal prep plant, and that's where I ended up then in charge of the plant then after a while.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Gosh. So how many guys would there be like you on the?
Well, when I first started, there were about 16 men in the coal prep plant. Well, in and around that area from the plant to the wagon lowerers. Yeah, but then we ended up with a handful then.
Was that because of
Yes,
mechanisation?
Yes, mechanisation, and as men left, they never replaced, so we all ended up with several jobs.
Right.
Yeah.
God.
But,
And was that a good thing for you, or
it was hard work.
a stressful thing?
Yes, it was at times, yeah, when things went wrong, which they invariably did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So are you key to the whole, when you say when things went wrong, if the line stopped, did it affect down below?
Oh, yes.
So you got the stress of the whole mine
Oh, yeah, yeah.
if you haven't oiled your...
Oh, no. Well, in the coal prep plant,
Yeah.
where I actually, I spent quite a few years in the coal prep plant. And, yes, if you had the pit stood, you'd have them on us backs from down the mine, yeah.
And did that happen much?
Well, occasionally, especially if we couldn't transport the, we had a belt where you could divert the coal from the washers outside, and they would stock the coal, and then, yeah, just to keep the mine going. But at times, there were times when we couldn't do that.
Right.
So, and that's when you would have the management on the phone and using polite language.
God.
Well, what's the matter up there, you know?
Yeah.
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 Why have you got the pit stood?
God.
Yeah.
Do you know, and what sort of damage would that, I mean, it's a financial damage. I mean, that's going to be quite... Is that, I mean, if pit stopping like that?
Oh, yeah,
That's
because...
a major...
Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah, you'd yeah. Mind you, I believe they had storage bunkers down the mine, but I don't know exactly when that... Yeah.
And so did you mix with the miners much down below?
Yes, when we came out of the went into the baths or, yeah,
Yeah.
you mix with everybody.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
the camaraderie that they often speak of, did that travel up to you? I mean,
Oh,
it's kind of,
yes.
We're all in it together, and you know, because I mean, everyone always talks. Every time it's about the humour, friendships, the camaraderie, the community, the
Oh, yes,
incredible kind
yes.
of. And you definitely, the guys on top like you, weren't seen as another breed. You were definitely
No,
part
no,
of
no,
that.
no. The things
part of
went
that.
off at times, but anyhow,
Yeah.
which you couldn't do today and get away with it.
Oh
but
really? What do you mean? What do you mean by that? What does that mean?
No.
Things went off.
Oh yes, yes, yes. Greased when you first start, when you was a new starter. Yeah.
What does that mean? Well, grease. What you were?
Well, yes. Oh yeah.
What do they do? They grease. What do they do?
Strip you and grease you.
Strip you and grease you.
Oh yes.
Oh my word! Really?
Definitely.
Oh God!
Yes. Once wiping myself down, the area superintendent came in and said, "Oh, what's the matter with him? Oh, he's got diarrhea." And yes, that's.
Oh my
Yes.
God! Was that? I mean, I haven't heard of the initiation ceremony.
Oh yes, yes.
Really?
Initiation.
We've
yeah.
done what 30 heads now,
Yes.
and I haven't had an initiation story.
Oh, they are.
Yes.
So it's quite common.
Well, maybe. I mean that. Yeah, but anyhow, I better not say too much.
You must say everything. It's important. This is social history. These are the important stories.
Yes. Yes.
Gosh. So they you've got to tell me some. Oh, so they were greasing. Stripping and greasing was one.
Yes.
Okay, and that was that particular to a certain type of initiate, or was it or was it everyone got stripped and greased?
I believe quite a few did. Yeah. But
So then is it
that,
straight?
I can't speak for everybody.
I'm
but
sure you can't. No, but,
No,
but I'm listening to you. We're here today,
Yes.
and you can testify to being stripped and greased at Bentley Colliery in 1964.
Well, it'd be possibly. Yeah. I can't remember dates, but.
And you've got no photographic evidence.
No,
No.
But you were around then.
no.
You weren't around.
I was only 14.
Oh, crike! Of course.
Yeah.
And how old are you?
Well, 75.
75. Bloody hell. Not bad. Eh? Very fit looking. You said you were going to the gym today instead of coming here.
No, that was yesterday.
Yesterday, yes.
Gosh. So you're doing weights?
No. It's art rehab.
Art rehab?
Yes. Yeah.
I'm not letting you off the initiation stories, but we'll continue with your... So you had a bit of a heart condition?
Yes, angina, but
Right.
yeah.
That wasn't related, obviously, because
No,
you
no,
weren't in
no.
dusty areas or anything like that, were you? Yeah. Gosh. So what other initiations happened then?
Well, when you've got curly hair, like like I have,
Yes.
you used to get rabbits' hair drawn on top of your scalp occasionally.
Rabbit's hair?
Well, yes.
Rabbit hairs drawn on
Yeah.
hair.
Yeah.
Hair, like a rabbit drawn on your head.
Yeah, with marker pencil and yes,
So they used to what? Draw hair on your head?
yes, occasionally. Yeah.
With a marker pencil, it would never come off.
Yes.
So you have to
Often-
go.
For a while.
Yes.
So you go home to the wife and say, "What have they done to you?"
Yes. Yellow marker pen. Yeah.
Yellow.
Yes. Yeah. Yes.
So would they pin you down? How would they get to your head? And how would you?
Oh
not
no.
have-
Well, have to be at the sink that way during snap time. If,
Okay.
yeah.
At the sink.
Yes. In
So
the.
they force your head into the sink.
No. Against the sink occasionally, if.
Good
Yeah.
God.
But yeah.
All in the good spirits by the sound. of
Oh
it.
yes. Yeah.
Sounds like a lot of fun.
Well, it was an hard job at times, and sometime, during snap breaks or.
Yeah. So your snap breaks obviously were above ground because you were down.
Yes, yeah.
But the same kind of culture as you did down below. The kind of culture of snap tins and the food and all that sort
You
of stuff.
didn't have a snap tin though, did you?
Well, I first had a snap tin, you know, first, but then, just had sandwiches then in a... Yeah.
And what were you a booted and suited guy? Or were you just casually dressed? Did you have to wear a boiler suit or something? Or
Yes, yeah.
you were in boiler
The
suits?
orange suits. What
Orange suits, yeah.
No pictures on any of that.
Yeah.
Do you mind removing your glasses for a while so I can see your? Is that going to affect you?
No.
Good.
Yeah, that's what you'd wear, isn't it? Those orange.
Oh, okay.
Look, this is Bentley Bulletin.
Bentley
It's an
Bulletin.
old one.
The future looks good.
Yeah, it did.
Yes.
Wow. Fantastic. Bloody hell, those props.
What's... Oh, yes, yeah.
That's just incredible, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, but we don't have one of the surface tip.
No. And that is it.
Yes, yeah.
That's the only one we've got now.
So, but where were you in relation to that? Were you
Over
down
here.
there?
Yeah, called Pratt Pond.
The future looks good. So, what date is that?
1980.
1980.
Where are we?
Do you want me to have a look?
Yes, I can't read it. It's 1980.
This is April 1990.
Oh, that one.
This is, yeah.
Yes, right. April 1990. Yeah. Well, did I read 1980? When was?
That's 1990.
No, I thought it was 80 on there at bottom. Oh well.
Well, just getting your side profile then, is rather useful. I'm going to be walking around you soon when I can wake up. And have my coffee. It's like, no, I'm a hard-edged artist, but I'll do your front until the coffee's finished, and then I'll move around.
That's fine.
Or waking up slowly. So we've got a yellow-haired rabbit surface worker who has been greased whilst naked, arriving in work at Bentley Colliery.
Yes.
Your story is unexpected, I have to say.
Well, it wouldn't happen today, would it?
No, I don't know. It sounds. I mean, you often get that with communities of people, don't you? Like the Navy and public schools, kind of initiation, universities. I mean, it's getting quite. What's the word? Contentious now, isn't it? In universities, it's on the news. You get people like being, dying, scared, intimidated by sort of weird kind of initiation ceremonies. But it sounded quite innocent in the mind. Do you know what happened down below? Do you know what ceremonies or things have happened?
No, I dare say various things would have happened, but no,
Yeah.
I've no idea.
Yeah.
No.
Gosh. So, so you was from 64 to, when was it, how long were you there?
Almost 30 years.
30 years.
29, well, almost 30 years.
So going back to this, I was quite interested in this idea of the coal line, and you got these characters literally picking out
Oh, yes.
the coal.
That weren't your main job, though.
No,
but it's an interesting part of it. I haven't really talked
Oh,
about
yeah,
it before.
but
So, I mean-
then everything changed then. They gradually disappeared. It came straight from the mine
Yeah.
onto belts into the coal prep plant.
So how did it come to you then, when before the mechanisation? How was it coming out of the mine before the belts?
It'd be tubs.
Tubs. So it came
Yeah.
out on railway track, as it were. And you
Yes,
literally-
well, yeah. It
You-
had come out of the mine, you would have sets of 3 tubs.
Right. So they literally, and they're yay big, yay deep.
Yes, yeah.
So you're actually digging through the tubs.
No. The tubs would come out of, right, now, they'd come from the cage, they'd be pushed out of the cage with an hydraulic ramp.
So they come up a lift or up a.
Yes, out of the ground, from underneath the ground.
Yeah.
They would come up, and then you'd got 2 decks.
Yeah.
And they'd be pushed down, and they'd come down sorry, they would come on the rails to the tipplers.
Right, and they get tipped out.
Yeah, tipped out, and then they would come onto the picking belts, and then the belts would come round towards the the coal prep plants.
Right. Okay. And then you got how many guys would you have on a tub, as it were?
There was quite a few. I can't remember. There must have been, well, blimey.
Can I have your glasses off for you? Sorry.
No, I just cannot remember now how many men would be on the tub circuit. It's what you call the tub circuit. Yeah, there'd be quite a few men. I would say.
Just turn it off, thank you.
30 or so, maybe more.
Really?
Oh yeah, round that section. Yeah.
I thought those ringers would stop. Okay. Thank you.
Sorry.
No, it's not your fault.
Yes, that was quite hard work, because on my first day, I got the finger trapped.
All right.
Yes.
Oh, you got one of those. Ooh, it's looking like a nasty little
Yes. Oh, put your ear. This chap came up to me on the first day when I was on the tub circuit, and he says, "Oh, put your hand there, lad." Anyhow, it happened to be a buffer, a tub without buffers.
Oh.
And yes, it split it like a pea pod.
Really?
Yeah.
On your first day?
On the first day, within the first quarter of an hour.
Really?
Yes.
So your first day was off?
Yes, for several weeks while it healed up. Yeah.
Did you rather feel like this is not the job for me?
Well, it makes one wonder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You go in, your first quarter of an hour, you lose your finger, then you've got 2 weeks off to think about it, saying, is this the career for me? I mean, did you have career options? What was your education? What was your parent? What were your parents?
Father worked in the mines.
Mm.
He worked down Bentley Colliery. He was a cutter.
And was he there when you were there?
Yes, yes, yes.
And was that a good thing?
Well, I've been on overtime once. I've been on afters, and I had to work while 2 o'clock in the morning, and I came. It's the first time actually I saw him in the nude.
You saw your dad in a nude?
Yes.
Not being initiated?
No. I went up to him, tapped him on the back. Excuse me, mate, can you wash me back? And there, and behold, it's my father.
Really?
Really? Yes. Yes.
And what did he say? Bugger off.
First time I'd actually heard him swear.
So was he compliant? Did he scrub your back?
Yes, yes.
Oh, good. Go for that. I'm going to say there'll be some serious issues if he didn't.
Yes. Yes, there were quite a few of the family there at that. But yes, I had uncles there. And
really? So
yeah.
you were dying in the wool mining family then?
Yes, oh yes, yeah.
Gosh.
Myself and my cousin were the last there.
Really?
Last of the family, yeah.
Gosh.
Yeah.
So I suppose that when I say how did that feel, you don't really know how it wouldn't feel, would you? How to have all
No,
your
it
family.
was, yeah, yes, it was. Well, it was a family thing in those days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So your dad was a cutter.
Yes.
So was he really happy for you to come down the mine?
Well, he didn't want me to go down the mine, so that's partially why I never went down the mine. I stayed on the pit top.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And did you want to go down the mine then when you
Not
first started?
really, no. I wasn't bothered. You know, no. I was all right on the surface.
Yeah. There wasn't like a romance to it that you...
No.
You did try to get out of it though, didn't you?
Yes, but yeah.
Out of what? Out of mining?
Yeah.
Yes.
Did you? What, early on?
Yes, I can't remember how many. I think I spent about 5 or 6 years there, and I went male nursing for a while.
And how was that?
All right, but yes.
Any initiation ceremonies there?
No. No, it was nothing like the mines.
No.
No.
And so how long did you do that for?
About 4 or 5 years, and
Oh,
then
really?
I went back to the mine.
Oh gosh, so why did you return?
Well, I didn't really enjoy it. I didn't feel it was me, you know.
Okay.
Yeah.
And is that, did you think, a lot to do with family? And the fact that your family were, or was it much more to do with how you felt personally?
Well, yes, I went back to earn more money,
Oh,
actually.
okay.
Yeah. Probably a mistake maybe over the years, but anyhow.
Why would you think it would be a mistake?
Well, you look back, arthritis, you know, and
Oh, I see.
yeah.
I mean, do you think,
But you make these decisions in life, and
yeah, I mean, but that's a physical health issue, I suppose, rather than...
yes,
I mean,
yeah.
did the working above ground at Bentley cause your arthritis?
Well, we worked in damp conditions at times.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So where were you male nursing?
St Catherine's.
St. Catherine?
Yes, yeah, St Catherine's. Yes, it was the days when the what would you call them? Well, you can't call them mentally special needs
Okay.
now. Yeah.
So you were looking after...
Special needs, yeah.
Oh, right. So that's
Yeah.
a hell of a...
Different,
Yeah.
yeah,
Gosh.
yeah.
So you obviously went off on training for that.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
So this was a big decision.
Oh,
It was
yes.
a big career move.
Yes, yeah.
How old were you when you made that decision?
Let's see, I'd be mid-20s, I would have thought. Yeah, mid-20s.
And what attracted you to nursing? I mean, what did you think?
I just thought I'd try it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's quite an interesting contrast to...
Oh, yes, yeah, yeah.
to mining.
Did
Yeah.
you think you could, was it like you thought you could better yourself maybe?
Yes, but I felt like a fish out of water in many, many ways, yeah. So, like I say, I decided after a while to go back to the mine.
And was that an easy thing? Do they welcome you with open arms?
Oh, yes, I ended up back on the coal prep plant.
Right.
Yes. Yeah.
Gosh. And straight back in your old job, really?
Oh, yes, yeah. Yes, yeah.
So you kind of wait, you kind of phone them up and say, I'm coming back, can I come back? And they say, yeah, well, there'll be a post coming up next year type thing, or is it immediate?
Immediate.
Is it immediate?
Yes.
So the jobs
Back on the coal prep.
The jobs were that kind of, gosh, I mean, that's amazing to think. That you could literally phone your old boss up and say, can I have a job back? And they go, yes. And without having to shuffle, say, no, well, it's too, we're cutting down on jobs, like, you very rarely hear nowadays of just an open door on a job, do you?
Oh, that's how it was in them days. You could leave, yeah.
I mean, the stress really is removed quite incredibly from life.
Oh, yes.
When you know you can just, you can make a career decision and you can go back into your old job if it all goes wrong. I mean, that sort of thing, you burn your bridges now, don't you? Kind of.
Oh, yes, yes.
Kind of worry
Yeah.
about, getting out of the loop.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
Them days have gone where you could leave one job
Yeah.
and then start another job on day. Yeah.
Did you think it was an efficient mine?
Well, it was quite an efficient mine, yeah.
Yeah.
They did 1 million tonnes, didn't they, one year?
Yes, yeah.
And you got a miner's lamp?
Yes, rather than a bonus.
With a
Yes,
little plaque on it saying 1 million tonnes or something.
yes.
That's quite a thing, isn't it? So, back to your childhood then. The son of a miner, and your mother did your mother work, or was she?
No.
Stay-at-home mum.
Stay-at-home
How
mum.
many of you were there?
I'm the eldest of 5.
5.
Yeah.
And what sort of house were you in?
Well, we started off in a
Prefab.
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 Yeah. 126 Jossy Lane.
And where's that, in Doncaster? Or-
Yes, Scorthorpe.
Okay.
Yeah, then from there we spent a few years in the prefab, and then from there to a council house.
Right. So you didn't have mining cottages or anything like that?
No,
Mining
no,
houses?
no.
You weren't in a miner's row of houses or a...
No, no.
And was there
no.
a reason for that? The reason why you didn't have that kind of...
Well, it's what came up.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Just twist, that's it, just a little bit. That's it, right. Thank you. A little bit more. Thank you. And so you had 5 brothers, and are you saying you all had your own bedrooms?
No, there were only 3 bedrooms.
3 bedrooms, yeah.
3 bedrooms, so your mum and dad had one.
Yes.
Did they share it with any of
The
their...
girls in 2 sisters, they would be in 1 bedroom, and then the brother and I, and then, yeah.
So there's 3 of you in your room.
Well, there would only be 2 for a good while.
Yes,
wouldn't there?
yes.
The 5th one came
As I
along.
was leaving school, my younger brother was born.
Okay. Wow. So that was a bit of a shock.
Yes.
Did you get on with him? I suppose you were off and out before you...
Yes, yeah.
It's the least one that you do get on with, isn't it, really?
Yes, yeah.
So was your dad a tough guy or a...
Quite strict.
Yeah, strict?
Yes, that's how it was in them days.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it was yes, he was okay. He was a good father.
Was he a proud miner or a miner that cursed the job every time he went in?
No, no. He was a proud miner.
So mining was considered kind of it had a lot of cachet. I suppose it was like a proud tradition. Was his father a miner?
Yes.
Blimey, right, I mean... So you've come, really, you are mining. How many generations does it go back?
I would say my mum's father, he was a miner as well. So it would go back several generations, I would have thought.
Does that sort of thing interest you?
Yes, yeah, yeah.
Were they all Bentley? Where they?
Well, my grandfather, they moved several times. They lived in Tolbar. They moved several times. They followed the money in when my father was a lad.
So Tobar, where's Tobar?
Tolbar.
Next to Bentley.
Next to Bentley.
Okay.
Yes, yeah.
So it wasn't. They haven't moved from Wales or anything like that.
No,
They
no.
moved from the next mine.
Well, my grandfather, Grandfather Deakin, he moved several times to Chesterfield,
Right.
moving where the mines paid more money.
Right.
And then some of the family was born in Chesterfield, some of the family was born in Doncaster, and that's they just
Okay.
followed the money in those days.
Yeah. So was there a great variety in wages? I mean, you'd get a different. I mean, obviously, there'd be. I mean, it wasn't
That's
a universal kind of fee for a miner across the country. You got
Wouldn't be
higher wages.
in the days of my grandfather, because they would have been privately owned up until
Yes, of course.
yeah.
Until the NCB came in.
Yeah.
Gosh, so it really is in the blood. Totally in the blood. I mean, you're a rare creature.
I still think of myself as a from a mining family. Yeah.
I can't think how you wouldn't.
Yeah. Yeah.
And did all these guys escape injury? Just look forward.
My father died of emphysema.
Right.
Died at 57.
Bloody hell.
Yeah.
Gosh. And that was quite a common thing.
Yes, he didn't have the last few years of his life. He was a poorly man.
Really?
Yeah.
So that's at the time, obviously no protective clothing down there, no masks, no...
No.
No.
Jesus.
No. They had no sprays on the machines at that time.
To cut the dust down.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he worked in stone a lot of the time.
So when you say worked in stone, you mean that coal is found in the stone?
Well, yeah, there was a lot of stone at times down the mine where he cut through. Yeah.
And the stone creates the...
Yes.
So it's not, sometimes it's not the coal dust, it's the,
Well,
it's the stone dust.
it would have been both, I would have thought. Yeah. Yeah, she used to spit into a bucket, you know.
Really?
Yeah, yeah. It was horrible. But not a very nice illness, emphysema.
No. I made it, and it's horrible kind of to say, but it's unnecessary. I mean, it could have been so avoided, couldn't it?
Yeah.
Horrible to think that your job is causing that, really. And all your brothers are down there with you then? You had two, did they all go down or did you have...
No, I was the only one.
Oh really?
Yeah.
So the other ones didn't go because they fancied it, what do they do?
My brother worked to Asken sawmills making drums for cables for the mines.
Okay. So
Yeah.
it's related.
Rope cables, yeah. Rope drums.
Right.
Hmm.
Quite interesting job actually. It's a bit like barrel making.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that all went when the mines went.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, what did you do after mining? Did you retire from mining, or did you have another?
You went into the coal sampling lab, didn't you?
Yes, yes.
Oh, what's all that about then? So, what's the coal sampling? Is that on? Would that be on site, Bentley, or is that?
Yes, yes, yeah. We would go over and well, there was automatic sampler. What came across the flow of coal,
Yeah.
and it would take this sample every hour, just shoot, and then it would come down then into a bag. And so you would take that bag of coal, sample, crushed coal,
Right.
you would take it to the lab, and then you put it onto the floor, and you would quarter it right the way down until you got a handful.
Quarter. How do you mean by quartering?
Well, you'd be spreading it out and
Dividing it up.
dividing it up, yes.
Okay. And what are you looking for? I mean, now you're assessing quality.
Yes, yes.
And
What
is it you're looking for in coal to assess quality? What's
the ash content?
Ash content.
Ash content of the coal, yeah.
So hang on a minute. Ash. Why it hasn't been burnt yet?
No, but you see, we had to take the samples. We take a sample at the colliery,
Right.
and then every day then, well, there would come, the area would come and collect our bags of samples. They would go back and check our samples, and the power stations then would, they would also sample.
Right.
To make sure, because I believe the mines got paid on the quality of the coal.
Yeah.
So we had to make sure that our coal was decent.
So are you pre-burning it? You're burning it and then you're going through the ash?
Oh yes, yes.
So you're, I mean, and then the ash content basically means how much wood is, how does the ash in a piece of coal determine its quality? How does it arrive? I mean, if you've got coal being burnt,
It's only
it's
a
the
little,
stuff.
you don't
It would
have
go-
put a little bit in a dish, wouldn't you?
You'd-
Put it in a microwave.
Well, it would go into a microwave. After we've sampled it and crushed it,
Right.
we would take small amounts off, put it into small pots like that,
Yeah.
and they would go into a computer,
Oh, right.
and that would give you the sample,
The ash content.
the ash content.
And did it vary a lot?
Sometimes, and so that's what, if it varied too much, we would ring up the washers and they would sort it out up in the washer.
So how does the washing of the coal?
That's Colin in the doing the sampling
Look at
with
you.
the computer.
Look at you and your hair.
Yes.
To camera. That's a fantastic machine. It's got a radiation sticker on it.
Yes, yes. Very early computer, that,
Yeah.
isn't it? Yes.
So I don't understand how the washers will affect
Right.
the
Well,
quality of
what
the coal.
you had 2 baths,
Right.
and in this bath, one bath, the primary bath, would be 1.4 specific gravity,
Right.
and the secondary bath would be 1.6 specific gravity. So what would happen then as the raw coal came into the primary bath?
Yeah.
Your coal would float. That would be taken over by large floats onto the screens, and then the screens would separate then various sizes.
Okay.
The dirt would sink to the bottom of the bath. That would go into a secondary bath. The middlings would float, and the dirt then would sink, and that would end up on the tip.
Okay.
So if your bath, in your primary bath, became too heavy or too light, that's why you want to keep it, yeah, you want to keep it more or less right.
Okay. So it's a question of the quality of the leftovers from the wash that was getting through to the next level.
Oh yes,
Stuff you would assess.
if it went up the tip, yeah, you'd lost coal. Yeah.
I got you. So you can then assess the quality of the coal by the amount of stuff you're throwing away. So you tell the washer to retain,
Yes.
to lose 2%, 5% or whatever.
Yeah.
Because you're giving us too much rubbish
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
not enough rubbish.
Yeah. Yeah.
You say, hang on a minute, this is too good.
Yeah.
Can you
yeah.
just
Well, yeah. Yeah. You'd say the density of the bath was slightly. It wanted either topping up one way or the other.
Okay. And was that a daily event?
Oh yes.
Changing
Yes. Yeah.
the
Yeah.
quality of the washers, or was that an hourly event?
Well, yes, it was an hourly thing. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
So it didn't have much to do with the actual coal coming out of the ground. It was to do with how it was treated once it came up.
Oh yes. Yeah. Well, we've had some early on. We've had some rough shifts, especially when you would have when they got the ponies down the mine,
All right.
and yes, you'd got tubs of horse muck come up. Yes, occasionally that happened.
Really?
Oh yeah, we've had it occasionally.
Is that as a joke or a?
No, sheer accident.
And you're assessing in the. You're washing horse muck.
Yes, well, you'd have to clean the chutes out.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so
You've got lots of new information for me, I have to say. This has all been very, very interesting. So, so the horses were actually, could be problematic.
that's when you'd got the ponies down the mine, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, we've had a few of that
So do you
early on
remember
in
that?
the years.
Remember that period of?
Oh yes, that was early on before, yeah. Yeah, that was early on. That. Yeah.
That was more. Was that? Would you call that a romantic time? A more interesting? Was it more
Well,
colourful?
Yes, it was colourful.
Got to concentrate for a minute. Your stories are too interesting, and I'm forgetting I'm making a sculpture.
I bet you'll get to taste that stuff.
Yeah. Well, it's not really got much flavour. Probably just as well.
Yeah.
A lot of people comment on it. For years, I've been doing this, and I even knew I did it. I came here. I had Joan Hart, but Sister Hart was the first one. She had the face, exactly the face you've got. She looked at me and I said, I'm doing your portrait, don't frown. She said, what are you doing? I said, what do you mean what am I doing? She said, you're eating it. I said, am I? And I just realised, I just put it in my mouth, I didn't even realise I did it. It's the third hand, you know, it's like, I need that bit, that, and how else can you kind of break it up? Yeah, I do it all the time. I'm now self-conscious now. So after you went into the analysis, I suppose it was called, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Did you stay until your retirement?
No, I had to finish. I worked to almost 60 and I had to finish with ill health.
You went in the weighbridge, didn't you?
Yes, oh yes, yeah. Yes, latter off I weighed all the coal out of the... I was one of the last men to finish at Bentley.
Really?
Yeah, yeah. All the stock coal. Yeah.
Stock coal?
Stock coal.
Stock coal, sorry.
Yeah.
So you were at the end of Bentley then?
Yes.
So you had to finish, but you saw Bentley out?
Yes, yes.
So you were one of the last men working in Bentley?
Yes, well, yeah, on that side, yeah.
So that's 2 or 3 generations of your family working in Bentley, and you were the last. Was there an incredible feeling of...
It was sad really, it was, yeah, it was sad really seeing what you thought you'd got a job for life, then it suddenly taken away from you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You were 50, weren't you, when...
Yes, yeah.
So is that when you retired when you were 60, so that was, you were...
Yes.
You went into analysis at 50, is that what you're saying?
Yes,
You
yes.
didn't retire at 50 though, you went into school, didn't you?
Yes.
As a special needs assistant.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So that carried on, that idea of caring and nursing?
Yeah, yeah. I went into the schools, helping out in the classroom. I did that for a while, and then I thought I was... then from there I went back to special needs for a while. I thought I was going to do something else, but it never materialised.
What did you think you were going to do?
Well, I went to this care home. I thought I was going to be make within projects making wooden things, you know, with the hands.
All right. What do you mean?
But,
into what? So school? Do you say?
no, I worked in a school for a while.
Yeah.
Helps as a classroom assistant at various schools. And then after what would it be? I'd be there about 4 years. Then I went to a care home. And yes, I worked amongst special needs again. And that lasted for about 4 years.
Right.
And then I had problems with the heart.
Right.
Yeah. So
And you basically became retired at that point?
Yes, yes. I finished. Well, it was asthma.
Asthma?
Yes, I developed asthma. Yeah.
That's quite a hard time.
Yes.
Do you have children?
Yes, yes.
You didn't want them... Oh, I suppose there wasn't any mines to go down by the time...
No.
Did you feel that, in a sense of... Was that a liberation for you, in the sense of as a family? Did you feel like, oh, it's good
I suppose.
Kids don't have to do that?
Yes,
anymore?
I suppose so, yeah. Yeah. Yes,
What did they end up doing?
well, we lost his first daughter, 3.5. Sarah, we lost Sarah at 3.5. Simon spent 14 years in the army, and Emma works for the British Red Cross.
All right.
Not
Yeah.
Simon.
No, Simon was in the forces, now he's a bus driver now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did he? Where did he go? Was he in the army?
Yes.
And did he travel and did he see action, as it were?
Yes.
Yes.
Where was that?
Iraq.
Did he go to Iraq?
Yes.
Bloody hell. That's pretty tough as a parent, isn't it?
Yeah, very.
Yes, yeah.
We were on a TV programme.
Were you?
They did a TV programme called Soldier Husband, Daughter, Dad.
Really?
So,
And how did that? What was that? Did that?
it's a documentary about the tour in Iraq.
Okay.
And so they filmed Simon in Iraq. They filmed us at home. They filmed us together as a family when he came home.
Really?
Yeah,
How was that?
very intimidating.
Really? Trying to act like normal families.
Yeah, while they're filming you, yeah.
Yeah.
On holiday.
Really? So where did you go on holiday? Did
Oh, we
they?
had a caravan.
Oh, they didn't pay you to go on a nice holiday.
No,
No,
unfortunately.
no.
They did buy fish and chips for us one day.
What station was it?
I don't know. We've got the DVDs. We've got a set of DVDs.
Purbright.
It would BBC, wouldn't it?
Oh, sorry, I thought you meant where he was stationed.
Oh, right.
Yeah. No, it's the BBC that did the filming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that was interesting. So did he love it?
Yes,
Yeah, he did.
yeah, but he,
Well, we didn't want him to go in the army,
No.
but we paid for him to go to college to do horticulture.
Right.
So he did that and he got his certificates and then he went and joined up.
Wow. You can't keep a good man down.
No,
So what was his battalion or?
Royal Horse Artillery.
And that was stationed where? Purbright.
Purbright, yeah.
no, Tidworth.
Tidwell, yeah. He were at Purbright for a while,
That
then
was
went,
the spur initial
yeah.
training.
and then went to Tidworth.
And then latterly he was at RAF Leconfield before he left.
Okay. So he moved into the RAF.
No, it was an RAF station, but
Yeah.
they had army personnel there.
So, and I don't want to delve into that, but you're watching telly, news of the reports on the telly, and do you know where he is when that's happening? Are you aware of his movements?
No, not really.
So the stress
Yeah, very stressful.
is
yeah.
working out if he's involved in what's going on. You've got, because it's a strange relationship with events. You've got official media.
Yeah. Well, there was an incident once where some soldiers were killed where Simon was, and one of them was actually called Simon,
Oh, Christ.
and we thought it might be him, but we got a phone call. They ran to say it wasn't him.
They actually phoned you up and said it wasn't. I mean, you didn't have to chase them. They actually found you.
No.
That's actually very good, isn't it?
Yeah.
Has he been affected by it?
He has, yeah.
Hmm.
He's got post-traumatic
Has
stress.
he?
He's struggling at the moment.
Is he really?
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yes, he saw quite a few of his mates blown up.
And how does the stress manifest itself? Is it just nerves? Is it?
Anxiety, isn't it?
Mining would have been a soft option. So is he a bus driver because it's something he can kind of handle?
He enjoys it.
He enjoys it, yeah. He's got all his licences in while I was in the army, so...
He's a people person.
Right.
Have you got any more of these to do today?
Yeah, 3 today. I come down 2 days a week, 2 days a month, and I do 6 heads. And I would, until I listen to your story, say it's very hard work.
I've been very entertaining, have we?
Yeah, it's been very good and very kind of, it's quite a, what's the word? Salutary. It's amazing to hear other people's, this is the privilege of this, to be honest, is listening to people's lives. It's an extraordinary, strange and interesting relationship you have with a complete stranger for about 2 hours. You know, you become quite, you know, they're telling you their lives. And sometimes it gets quite emotional. Sometimes it's quite humorous. I think we've had a bit of everything in this one. Once we even started singing songs. I don't expect you to do that.
No. Yes.
The thing is, you've got quite a subtle face, and you like to move in various ways, don't you? You have a whole kind of. You've got a 45-degree angle.
Still.
Your angles of your heads sweeps, like you go up like that, and you're.
All right.
So you're not actually. You're never actually.
It
So
would be.
how I position you in. You should be like that, really. It should be like that, like that, like that. That'll be, you know, you say, oh, it looks like him, but it will never feel like him because he'll be straight like that. But if I angled it like that, you go, oh yeah, that's got a bit of him about it. We might have to think about that one.
So what's the next process then?
We take this back to the foundry, and I've got quite a few people working there for me. So foundry we've built, and I've built foundries over the years. And we'll give it to Louis, who makes the moulds. He's actually on the last batch still, so he's still doing the last heads from the last. They take a long time. The last heads from the last sitting, which was in December. Make rubber moulds, and then he takes waxes, another wax from those. So we can then make many, many heads. So we can edition you. So
Will this wax be used again?
well, I save these.
Yeah.
I'm rather fond of these. So these should be, if I was a professional, I should melt these down and bring them back and use the wax again. But
Yes,
now
that's-
in my studio, there are loads of yellow wax heads of strange blokes and the old women. And I rather love them because they have a kind of, what they call it, the uncanny. They have a kind of a human fleshy feel.
Yeah.
So they're strangely human. And they have a strange kind of life to them. So I have them in cabinets.
But
I
do
never-
you know, but
never-
do you know who they are?
Yeah, I mean, it's extraordinary. My conversation with you will be remembered now. Not only on film, but in my own little world.
Yes, yeah.
Because I've got a head to judge it by.
You'll remember about the oil and about the grease.
Yeah,
and
about the
what-
greased up,
Yeah.
poor youths that were greased up and... Yeah. So yeah, then we make it's called the lost wax method of casting. It's an old
Yeah.
Italian method.
Mm.
And I was trained at the Royal College of Art in the Foundry by a wonderful guru called Tissa Ranasinghe, who was a Sri Lankan. And he was the master founder of the Royal College. And he was trained by the Angeloni brothers, who were this incredible, part of this incredible Italian diaspora that came from Italy. And Italians were the expert bronze casters. From the Italian Renaissance to now, you know, Rome in 1514, whatever, Michelangelo, Donatello, all those incredible people used this method that I use. And I was trained because it came down from the Italians who came to London in the turn of the century and set up these foundries in London. Because London casting, British casting, was very industrial, so it was sand casting.
Yes, yeah.
So like, you know, the Landseer lions at the bottom of Trafalgar Square, all that sort of thing. Probably, I don't know if someone will ring up and say you're wrong, but it's highly likely in my mind that they were sand cast. But lost wax casting wasn't around in London and England before the 19th century, the end of the 19th century, where the guy who did Eros in Piccadilly,
Yes.
Alfred Gilbert, used to go over to Italy. He was one of the artists who used to go to Italy to get these bronzes cast because he couldn't get them done with the quality in England. He went over, used to go to Rome and said, look, why don't one of you guys set up a foundry in London? There'd be so much business. So then the Italians started to come over. And one of the families, in the end, was the Angelonis, who set up in the Royal College and taught Tissa, who then taught me. And so I have this incredible lineage. Talk about history and all that sort of stuff. I sort of appropriated, my family were not artists in any way. I was the first person who did go to college even, So they came from farming stock, really. So I sort of appropriated this kind of lineage of history, suddenly the Italian Renaissance meant something to me. And so I kind of grew in me, and that meant a lot. So now I'm very proud of using old methods from Italy, and this kind of Italian lost wax method is very much a big thing in my life. So we have to just start and answer your question. We then make another wax from this, and there's a little wax in the cabinet outside of the head, and that's hollow. This is all solid. So you don't want to cast a solid head in bronze, because bronze
It's too expensive and heavy.
expensive, but also bronze expands with heat. And when it's liquid, it's bigger than it is when it's cold. And so therefore it contracts. So if I poured that in bronze, put a runner in it and poured it, it would shrink and the head would look like a sponge. So you'd end up with you'd lose a detail in the quality. So the thinner a bronze, the more detail you get in the sculpture. So we then make a very hollow wax of your head, and that's quite, we pour the wax into the mould and we pour it out again, and you get this kind of skin like chocolate egg casting, You get a kind of hollow wax, and then we put that in a mould with a series of what we call runners and risers on it, which are the things that feed the bronze in and out. And that goes in a kiln, and the wax melts out, leaving a hole in the mould, which is where you pour the bronze. So you have a lost wax casting. So the wax is melted out. And then you have a bronze head that you have to open up in the mould and smash the mould open to get a bronze head. And then all the metal finishing starts, the filing and the fettling and all the craftsmanship. Well, it's all craftsmanship.
Yes, it is.
But it's all the incredible skills now that these guys have got. We've kind of trained them up to a standard. I now have a manager there, Tom, who does all the training. So we're beginning to train an incredible generation of casters in the kind of incredible skills down there. So this is all really good for them. They learn a lot doing these heads. And then we have a bronze head. Some of them in the museum here at the moment, the bronze heads, they're on a display.
In the museum?
Yeah. That's part of the sort of publicity and awareness raising of this project. And I think it'd be really interesting to have 40 bronze heads of people, irrespective of the sculpture. It's just very interesting.
So there'll be 40 on this...
Yeah, in the sculpture.
Yeah.
But even if I wasn't doing the sculpture, this is a very interesting kind of process. And I only started doing this process here now because I wanted to get to, it was like a consultation process. It was like, I'm going to find out about people. I'll do some portrait heads. Because Rodin, my son was reading a book on the kitchen table about Rodin. And he said, and he was reading about the Burghers of Calais, which is this sculpture, I don't know if you know the Burghers of Calais. It's a sculpture about these burghers who sacrificed themselves for the town. And it's in Calais, and they're all marching, they're all drifting off to their deaths to save the town. And it's this incredible sculpture by Rodin of these incredible heads. And it's really full of pathos and incredible thing. And he said, did you realise that Rodin went to Calais and did portraits of people of Calais in order to do this sculpture? I said, no. He said, yeah, he wanted to get, see if there's a facial type, like a physiognomy of Calais people. I said, oh God. He said, did you ever think about doing that in Doncaster for your mining project? I said, bloody hell, that is a brilliant idea. Jesus, you bloody genius. So I found out, I said, actually, I think I found a way of consulting people or learning about the mining history by just sitting down with them and doing their portraits. And bless this council, I said, that's a brilliant idea, why don't we set it up? So I started as a consultation process, really, to do this. And then as I started to do it, we realised the heads were really interesting and actually quite good, because I'd never done it like this before. Oh God, this is actually more interesting than I expected. I must be able to use these somehow. It's a shame just to make these heads and then just put them in a cupboard. There must be a way of
preserving them.
Yeah, and using them. So it was then that I started to think, how the hell do I put them into a sculpture? So I thought, I know, bollards. Through the town, I'd have a head on each bollard going down the high street, and each one would have his name, and it'd be like a I thought,
people knock them off.
Yeah, and I thought that would be a really cool idea. And then my wife said, do you know what, I don't think the people want to be remembered as a bollard. I said, really? I said, it's such a cool idea. I said, no, don't, you don't want to do that. You're a lovely man, husband, but you're not going to do that. And then I thought, oh God, and I was in my studio drawing away, you know. The mayor is waiting for my ideas to come, you know, and she's like, oh God, this is all... I don't do public art much, I do my own stuff, you see. So I was sitting in the studio drawing, hundreds and hundreds of drawings, coming to Doncaster, doing all the talks to all the miners, and they're all like looking at me going, you're mad. You know, what do you want to do? Oh God, this is not what we want, And eventually I thought, the only thing people liked that I did were the heads. The minute you sit down with a person and do their head, they suddenly you're just a dodgy artist from the south of England or whatever, turning up. Who do you think you are, type thing, especially in Yorkshire. And the minute,
What do you mean?
yeah, I'm not talking about you guys, but often you get, you know, you do. I mean, everywhere I go, you know, what do you do? I'm a sculptor. Oh God, you're one of them, are you? Bloody arty git. That sort of stuff. Because there's a lot of suspicion nowadays with artists.
Yeah.
A lot of people think people are kind of conning you, you know. So it takes a long time to win confidence and respect. So, but doing this, there's a few hard nuts that were kind of, not hard nuts, but people who had communicated to me that they were unimpressed with my abilities to... I should be interviewing you, why am I talking? Unimpressed with my abilities to fulfil the brief of the project, let's put it like that. With a lot of chest tapping and things like that, you know. So I thought, oh, this is quite hardcore down here. I'll go back to my nice. And but the minute you sat them down and did their head, and it, God bless her, came all right. You're all right,
Yeah.
you're all right. And then start telling you a story or two. And listen, look, it's good, that is. I'm going to tell my friends about that. That's good. You're not bad. You know. Before you know it, people start to build a relationship and a respect. And once that's there, you know, half the job's done, really. And then so I thought, I've got to add this, I've got to get this stuff into the sculpture, really. All this is very interesting, all this information. So eventually, I came up with this idea of this big block of stone representing like the sediment and like the rock, the stone that the coal is found in, you know. Like we talked earlier about the stone. And that these heads could almost represent coal. If they were black, dark heads set inside niches in this rock, that you'd have a nice relationship with a mine, in a sense, you know, as an idea. You know. And so I began to draw these heads set in rock. And it became quite a powerful thing, actually. And I thought, well, this wonderful...
We got all the funding, didn't we?
Yeah, it's brilliant. And then I got this idea, like, all these stories are being told, it's just, well, we can't lose them. And then this wonderful college said, well, why don't we film?
Well, I was speaking with a friend of ours last night at the house group of ago. And I happened to the wife mentioned it actually. And because I didn't know how this process was going to going to be, what shape it would take. I actually thought you'd put something over the face and do it.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
He thought you were going to put him in a plaster cast, you know, and do
Yeah,
a mould.
Yes,
Wow.
and
God.
this friend of ours, she is a art teacher,
Oh.
and she says, no, it won't be like that. I expected a straw in my mouth.
Yeah.
To be quite yes.
Oh, sorry.
No, because she asked who you were.
Oh, God.
And we couldn't remember.
Oh, God.
I don't think we knew.
No.
Does she not know about the project?
I think she knew about it, yeah, but she didn't.
Well, her husband's a local artist.
Oh, really? Oh, dear. Probably applied for the job.
No, I don't do sculpting, it's painting.
Oh, okay. Oh, interesting.
I actually got a
I got him an original painting of Bentley Collar for his 75th birthday.
Oh, wow. He made it.
By this artist, yeah.
Gosh. Oh, well. I wonder if I suppose they could have tuned in if they'd known. Well, has it been as painful as you thought it would be?
Pardon?
Would you prefer a straw up your nose rather than me looking at your nose?
No, I found it quite interesting actually. Yeah.
It's very stressful, this. I mean,
No, I
more to
don't.
last for me, not for you. You've got the easy job. For me, it's
Getting the likeness.
well. The problem is also, it's I get carried away talking, and you suddenly forget you're making a sculpture and listening, or begin to tell people your story, which is a killer, and get carried away in talking. And really, I work in silence, at home, back in the studio. Not even music. It's just absolute silence, and you get to a state when you're an artist. It's all everyone thinks it's a wonderful job, and it is a wonderful job. But everyone thinks it's a bit like just drawing in pictures and enjoying yourself. But actually, when you get past a certain phase,
I think that's quite difficult to do, though.
yeah, it gets quite stressful. It gets quite angsty. Spending a life trying to work out what to say when you've got nothing to say, really. That's why projects like this are great, because all the talking's done by other people. Because most of my time is spent exhibiting my own work with my gallery in London. So this summer I've got a show in London of my own sculptures, stuff I've made off my own back for my
You
own.
don't do painting then? And just
I do actually,
You
but
do?
there's no time anymore. It's one of my great passions. And I hope to be, by the time the business has got so big that I'm now managing the 10 people. I've got managers and I've got, it's a business.
Mm.
And I can't sit in the morning painting a nice picture when there's 10 people going, I thought there was a deadline, this, that, you've got that, and they go, it's like, it's a business, So I'm hoping that when I'm much, much older and I make it there, when I'm in my 80s or whatever, I can sort of quieten down, as a part of my quietening down process, start painting again. Because it's just as demanding. But
Yeah, David's made a real nice job of the paint of the picture. I have. Yeah.
is it in pride of place?
Well, I hope it to be, but he asked me not to put it where the direct sunlight.
Yeah. Is it oil?
Acrylic.
Mm. Did you have any idea, have any pretensions of being an artist yourself? You were talking about working with wood or something earlier.
Yes, we. I thought we'd be making bird tables and things like that with the lads, but it didn't materialise. So.
With the lads, who would the lads be?
Well, the
residents.
the residents.
Oh, right,
and-
in your,
yeah,
when you're
in the
working with
care-
your...
Yeah,
In the
Oh,
special
okay.
needs, yeah.
but it.
And was this an idea that you'd put forward and like we're trying to set up?
Well, it was someone, one of the neighbours who actually worked there, and yeah, he asked me if I'd like the job, but it didn't materialise. So, anyhow, my health,
Yeah.
yeah.
So acclimatising to retired life, was that an easy transition for you?
No.
Stressful?
No. Yes, I found it stressful, you know, and just suddenly I was going to work one afternoon, and I was on afternoons at the care home, and I was going to work, took my snapback, I called in at the surgery. I'd got my bag with me to go to work, and then I ended up going to Doncaster DRI, and that was it.
Yeah. So was it, did you collapse or just have a...
No, just pains in the
Just
chest.
thought he might have had a heart attack, but he hadn't.
He hadn't, no.
You had told him about the incident with the man in the bath.
Oh, no, yeah.
Who was the man in the bath then?
Oh, well, the young man, Steve Baxter, had a epileptic fit.
God.
And fell in the primary bath.
What's the primary bath?
Well, that's where the raw coal went.
Jesus Christ.
And I was downstairs.
How deep, just to go back to the beginning, a primary bath is where the coal...
It's where the raw coal it's where the raw coal comes off the belts into the bath.
To a wash.
Yeah.
Yes, well, it separates in the bath.
Right.
The dirt sinks.
Right, I got you.
Yes.
So
And what had happened, I was downstairs sorting out something downstairs, and I had the plant shut, closed down, whilst I was downstairs sorting out the medium for the bath.
Okay.
And what had happened, I'd sorted myself out, got my tanks full, refilled the tanks, and I wanted to set the plant going, because I'd got the management from down the mine shouting and bawling, "Why have you got the pit stood?" So I am blowing the claxton downstairs, asking the young man to start the plant up, to get ready to start the plant up. I couldn't get him. So rather than start my pumps up, which I could have done, I didn't do. I took the decision not to start the pumps up. I went upstairs, and as I came up the stairs, our surface foreman came. He met me. "What's the matter, Colin? Why haven't you got the plant going?" I said, "I can't find him. I cannot get Steve." Anyhow, I came up, and as I came round the corner to where the desk was, where all the buttons were for starting the plant up, I happened to see a helmet on this platform behind the floats. And lo and behold, now what's his helmet doing there? And no man.
Jesus.
So I looked down, and I happened to see this man, Steve Baxter, in the bath.
Good God. How deep is this bath?
It would be 10 to 15 foot deep.
Bloody hell.
And he happened to be on a cross member.
What?
We had a dividing plate. He'd fell on the dividing plate.
Jesus Christ.
So if I'd have started the pumps up,
He'd have died.
it could have died, you see.
Was he submerged?
He was just laying on his body was submerged. They were just happened to have his head above the water. And I just simply ran down to my cupboard. I had a rope. I lashed the rope to the fence and lowered myself into the bath.
Good God.
And I'm wrapped round like this with a rope wrapped round my shoulder and arm, so I could hold on with one arm and drag him out with the other. But with him having dropped into into the medium, which was quite heavy, it is actually magnetite. And you crush the magnet. Well, it's the magnetite came crushed to the mine, and then we would dilute the magnetite down.
Magnetite? What's magnetite?
It's an iron ore, a form of iron ore.
And what does that do in the wash?
Well,
Makes the coal float,
yeah,
Oh, right.
yeah.
but you couldn't pull him out because he was too heavy.
And so one of the engineers from down the mine, he came up as well because I think he wanted to know what was the matter. And he came up obviously the foreman must have said there's a man in the bath accident here. So anyhow, this engineer came and helped me, assisted me to pull him out of the mire. It was absolute, yeah. Yeah.
God's sake. Jeez.
So,
That's got to be one of the most bizarre mining accidents I've heard.
yeah.
And was he all right?
Well, it actually had a fit. The plant never did start up again that night.
Really?
Yes, it took us for the rest of the shift to get him out to, well, it was when we dragged him out of the bath. He was shaking like like no one's business. And we got him onto the stretcher, but it was a hard job getting him out because the plant had been so designed, well, we was on the top floor.
God.
And it was all steps, you see, because of the way the plant had been designed. So we had to get him out, and it was quite a job because it was, we had all the screens on the top, well, from the bath, and then you'd got the screens, and there was platforms all the way around the screens. So we had to lower him down at the front end, strapped to the stretcher.
God.
So, yeah.
Jesus. So the plant was closed?
While the day shift, yeah. Because it took us several hours to get him out of the plant, take him down, well, settle him down, and then...
in the hospital, or is he?
Yes, he would go to hospital. Yeah.
And so the managers were quite patient with you on that occasion?
Yes, I actually got 2 letters.
Really?
Yes, from the well, I've actually brought them with me. I don't know whether from the management to say more or less thank you for how I'd handled the situation.
Wow.
I got a safety tie.
Oh, brilliant.
Yeah.
They like giving their badges and...
Yes.
Did you bring it? Oh, you did bring it with you. Yeah, look.
Wow. And was that given to you in a special awards ceremony?
Well,
Sort of.
it could have been, but we've been on nights. I would be in bed. So, yeah.
So you decided to be low-key about it?
Yes, yeah. I'm not the sort. This is why this is out of my comfort zone.
Yeah. I don't think it's in many people's comfort zone. That's the other interesting thing about it.
Yes, I've got his letters of recognition. Well, you've got to tell that story, haven't you, really? I mean,
Yeah. Amazing. And was he forever grateful? Became the friend of your life?
I don't know. Not really.
he
No.
didn't come back into the plant, did he?
Didn't he?
No. He got taken off the job. Yeah.
Well, it wasn't safe for him.
Was that his first epileptic fit, do you think?
Well, I don't think they knew he were epileptic. Yeah.
Have you got any idea of the timings of this? What we're doing as far as...
You've got about 40 minutes.
It's 10:30 now.
Okay,
We started at 10 past.
great.
Are you on a time limit, are you?
2 hours would do.
I never been expected this in a month of Sundays.
You've got a very lovely, complicated mouth.
Oh, right.
When you, sad thing is, I love hearing you, but your mouth is a good mouth. So you're going to have to shut up for a while.
Yeah. So you've got to be quiet.
Yeah. So what did you do in all this? Where were you? Bringing up kids, or were you?
Yeah.
Were you working it as well?
No.
You weren't
not-
working down the mine.
No. I was a stay-at-home mum for a bit, and
Yeah.
then I worked in a shop, and then in an office, and I ended up working for Doncaster Council eventually.
Oh really? What did you do for Doncaster Council?
Customer service advisor.
Customer service advisor.
Yeah.
That sounds very technical.
Taking all the stick from people when they didn't get the bins emptied, and the street lights didn't work, and there were
Really?
potholes in the road and leaves everywhere, and
God, so you're the person that picks up the phone.
yes.
Gosh, that's quite interesting. Was it interesting, or was that stressful?
Could be.
When people just basically, because you are the face of the council,
Yes.
and as far as they're concerned, you are the council.
Yeah. And it's my fault why they haven't got their bin emptied,
Yeah.
or their trees cut down, or the grass cut, or the street lights are not working.
And do you realise you have people skills, and the whole way of dealing with people that was really quite? Did you have what's the word? Talents in that direction.
No, really.
I reckon you did.
My main job was admin. I ended up in customer services due to cuts.
Oh really?
Yeah.
How long ago was this?
Oh, I retired 4 years ago.
Oh yeah. What was your favourite job? Shopkeeping?
No.
No?
I like working in the education psychology service.
Oh God.
Just doing the admin, not the
Oh,
psychology.
okay.
Keeping all the psychologists' diaries and...
Wow. So when you say diaries, is that appointments or their musings on their...
Well, making sure they've got their documents in and filing all their from their clients,
Yeah.
things like that, making sure they've got all the things in. To chase them up sometimes. You haven't done this, you haven't done that.
Do you know, I didn't do your mouth after all that.
Stick it there.
You're going to carry on talking now.
We've got half an hour left.
Thank you.
Let's just put pressure on a little bit.
Yeah.
Yourself.
Sure.
It's like too easy, isn't it?
Has Colin seen his pictures?
I don't know. They went up onto the Facebook page
I don't know.
for the mining statue event.
When I looked on it, all I could get up were those pictures that are up there.
Oh, it should be more than that.
It's very difficult. You can't see a thing on this. I should colour this wax. It's like modelling in butter. When you actually cast it in bronze, it's really exciting to see all the mark making, which you can't really see in the wax.
It's so interesting, you know. So many things going through my mind.
Oh, yeah?
Yes, working in the mines, you know.
Yeah,
Yeah, just thinking of incidents and yeah, so many things, the characters.
yeah.
Yeah.
Do you feel it's
Ah,
promoting reflection sitting there? Something that's
Yes, yes, reflecting on that. Yes, yeah.
Was that on Facebook then?
Yeah, on the mining statue.
Oh, yeah, there's a town.
Well, there's some characters in the mines.
I'll try and get it up for him then.
Yeah.
humorous types.
Oh yes,
It's
yes.
a brand of humour, probably. I often wonder if you can trace the brand. I wonder if there's a particular comedian or whatever that was kind of like, you go, oh, that's mining humour. That's like, you can see he came from a Yorkshire
Yes,
mine, as it were.
a friend of ours bought me for my 75th birthday. Bought me a book, and it's about the miners' strike
All right.
coming up, and it's quite interesting.
Did you have much? What was your experience in the strike? Did you have a tough time?
It wasn't easy, put it that way, but we had some very good friends who supported us throughout the strike. Yeah.
And that was what, even just down to practicalities like food and.
Yes. Yeah.
And money.
Incredible. And were you having to keep? You didn't have to keep working because you weren't, because often people had to keep the mine going for when the people got back into work. But you weren't one of those.
No.
You were actually on strike.
Yeah.
Yes, I was on strike all the time. Yeah.
12 months.
It wasn't easy, you know. Yeah.
Got 2 children, 4 and 6.
Oh God.
But,
Because you don't strike me as a militant type.
no.
It's one of those situations you find yourself in and having to do things that you don't feel comfortable about doing, I suppose.
Yes, yeah.
Can you just look at me a second? Your glasses are so subtle, I don't think I can put them in. Hats and glasses, a nightmare.
Do you know if you were to create a bronze with the glasses on, would you pour the glasses separate and then add them after?
If you weren't that literal, yeah. But very rarely do you go that kind of literal. You try, and often glasses are sometimes represented by a couple of pinches in the start of a frame and then a bit of a line there. Sometimes they just put the real glasses on the head. Go in the National Portrait Gallery, you see Elizabeth Frink just put a pair of glasses on a head. It's a bit of a conundrum, really. James Joyce, there's a wonderful sculpture of James Joyce, has just like 2 10p pieces on his eyes, you know, because they are his personality. Depends if the glasses are trying to be concealed or celebrated in a head. The sessions usually get quieter later on as I have to start concentrating. Panics, let's see. It's like the generation game. Because often, if you could just face me, often when you're doing a proper head, you know, long time, you can get carried, for a whole day you can get carried away with just that, you know, just enjoy that. And I was in danger of doing that just then. So you have to pull out and go, no, come on, concentrate, you've got to get the bloody shape of the head there first, come on. For Christ's sakes, Laurence. Stop.
The face is there.
I think he's my guide.
It definitely
If he
is.
turns up, it's scary, because I don't know what's going on.
It's scary if he turns up, is it?
Yeah, because he's going to say, that's your head. At the end of it, he gives me an analysis of how it went. So yesterday he's going, second one, what are you going? It's like, it was all right, an hour in, it was okay, but the top half of the head didn't relate to the bottom half. And you were in trouble, really. Thank you very much. That's really nice to know.
It's true though.
You know, well, I didn't know at the time. It's only when you start. Well, Laurence, you really need to.
But then as soon as he started adjusting the top of the head, because he had to adjust the top, the bottom had gone, so he had to redo the bottom. But he only had about half an hour left to do all that.
Did he manage it?
Yeah.
But you have very strong hands.
I don't know, really. I'm always shocked. I'm a foundry. I mean, basically, I'm a foundry worker, okay? And I expect, I shake people's hands, like farmers and all that, and they've got hands that, you know, like rock. Mine are still pathetic. They're like piano players' fingers.
Yeah.
They should be
It's all
calloused and like hard. Look at the bloody thing, look. Shake my hand. Go on. It's pathetic, isn't it? What do you think? Your hands, you just washed coal and pressed buttons and they're stronger than mine.
There you go, 30 years done, wash coal,
Yeah.
press button.
Yeah.
No, I often wonder why I haven't toughened up. These go straightforward. You keen to see?
Okay.
It's usually an aspect that comes out, not a total. About half an hour usually go, oh, I can see his mum, I can see his dad and that. Everyone except him.
Funny story came out this morning, Laurence. I was apologising to the cleaner for the state of the. We've left the room,
Yeah.
and I just said to him, I said, look, I'll make sure all the wax is off the floor. If you could just buff it over afterwards to make sure it's nice and clean. So there's no point until Laurence is gone because it makes a complete mess. He said, that's fine. He said, what's going on in there? I said, well, basically he's creating these wax balls. He said, I did see them heads floating in the bucket. And then I was thinking, out of context, it must be really bizarre.
Yeah.
These cleaners just go into rooms, they don't know what occurs in them. They just see the aftermath.
Yeah.
So he's come in and he's just seen like heads floating in a bucket. It must have just been really bizarre. So I loved it.
He'd been very entertaining though, hasn't he?
Oh, it's brilliant. Brilliant. Very, very, very interesting. And, you know, as often, you know, there's a lot of emotion and stuff that you surprise yourself with, you know. And often in these films, I expect you'll look back at this one, you can go and watch it. There's quite quiet, you know, moments where I'm having to concentrate and work, and it just gets quite interesting for the layman to watch just the creative process, I suppose, just the relationship and the making of the head. This is going to be quite nice. I'm going to have him facing downwards.
Yeah.
So it'll be quite high on the wall.
Are you going to put him high up, are you?
Yeah, I think so.
You'll get that decision, dear.
Well, I'm just there, as I was just thinking then. I thought, yeah, that's an interesting, because his natural pose is to look down.
Yeah, that's spondylosis in the neck.
Oh, really?
Yes, banging the head over the years.
Banging the head?
Yes, with
On the girders in the...
on the
Oh,
girders
God.
and on pipe work.
bit weird because it must be like a bit like going to the doctors, a bit like going to the hairdressers, a bit like. Something on your shoulder, but it's bloody heavy, your head. You can feel all my modelling direct, all the vibrations now.
Yes. Doesn't bother me.
Did you have an operation on your nose in there?
Pardon?
Did you have an operation on your nose?
No, no.
I suppose it's where your glasses are, is it?
Yes.
Interesting, it's very interesting. So much attention, have you?
I was just thinking that.
I feel like being a paparazzi.
Been called worse.
I don't think so.
In the last 7 days, actually. There's something, observing from here, there's something really quite interesting at this point, because it's like Laurence has got Colin's head in between his hands, next to Colin's head. So you've got like this really.
I should have brought my camera, shouldn't I?
There won't be a shortage of photographs.
Well, no. Oh, yeah.
It's really quite strange.
Yeah.
Isn't it? Just coming up to 10 minutes left.
Oh, God.
You might be able to pinch a few minutes over the other side. I'll just check.
That half hour went quickly.
Oh, it's down to the last minute then, is it?
It is, yeah. It is. It goes down to the last minute. Yeah, I don't relax and go, oh, done. It's always a panic. Which is quite nice, really, in a sense. It adds an urgency to the thing, freshness to the thing.
You've got 15 if you need it, Laurence.
Okay.
You started a few minutes after the missile. I'll let you have 5 minutes back.
Thank you.
Very generous of you.
I try my best. Normally very, very generous on Thursdays.
Yeah.
It just reminded me of Dennis's face, actually, as I'm doing this. Remember Dennis, the...
Yeah.
Obviously, it was very, just funny, I was just thinking about that whole idea of the facial type, the Rodin thing. And it's funny, I hadn't seen it, and now as it's coming, I can see Dennis in it. And Dennis was a Yorkshireman through and through, wasn't he?
Yeah.
So that's fascinating, actually. Very interesting.
You brought your notebook upstairs, Laurence?
Why?
I'm just going to put Colin's name into it while we remember.
I've done it. I've got it all.
Done it already.
You have to label the moulds, otherwise you don't know who's who. White spirit in my mouth now.
Pardon?
White spirit in my mouth now.
Well, it'd be difficult doing that hat, won't it?
Yeah. Well, the sad thing is you have to concentrate on the hat rather than the head. You know, because you'd have to spend half an hour doing the hat, and it takes half an hour out of the actual portrait. Dennis Newell. You might be related. Have you ever lived anywhere else other than Yorkshire?
No.
No.
I'm not finished yet. I haven't got time for that.
You're not finished.
God, no.
Is it complicated?
Yeah. It's subtle. Subtle. It requires really more time. That's a compliment. Nice subtle head. Which would be a joy to... another 2 hours on it would be great. That'd be interesting. 4-hour pose. Could relax then. It was very funny. We had those portraits. When I was doing these talks in front of miners and stuff, and you end up talking about heads. The head comes up, and you go, "Oh, this is like a painting. So this is an interesting head." And then you start going, look at the expression on the left eye, and look at the. And it's very strange because the subjects were in the audience, so I never heard my head being spoken about like that. You know, look at the emotion in the right eye and how the left has collapsed. You know, and all sorts of things like. Didn't realise I was doing it. Suddenly quite embarrassing, really. This person's seen life. this is bizarre. When my child had been born, the pregnancy, you know, the birth, home birth, with this midwife, and she said, and then my wife, just before she's given birth, all goes horribly quiet. Baby stops, everything stops. And it's petrifying, but the midwife says the baby's just, you know, the heart goes right down, and it's just this awful moment. She says the baby's just waiting, just ready to, just gathering its last strength, you know. And sure enough, she fell asleep, and then was woken up by a whole kind of eruption, and it kicked off again. It was it was an amazing moment. And I always felt like this is like birth almost. It's like the quiet bit, just as the last bit of energy.
I was just thinking about my daughter we lost.
Oh, really?
Yes, I had an accident at the pit. And I should have been in bed on nights, but yeah. Yeah.
Was she at home? I mean, obviously.
No, she was I was with her. I was just thinking about. My back was hurting, you know, and I wanted to get myself going. I'm not the sort of man to be laid down for long, you know what I mean? I like to get myself going, and yeah. And
road traffic accident, basically.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
The lorry reversed over pavement, I remember.
How are we doing?
5 past nearly.
Oh, I'll give you a white spirit makeover.
Spirit.
Bald people always get the white spirit makeover.
Give them a smooth look.
Yeah. We can do a lot more in metal finishing, but it's good to start. Get the sandpaper out, emery paper. The buffing wheels.
Time's there, Laurence.
Oh, Christ, thank you so much. Oh, very powerful. Thank you.
Picture of it.
Yeah. We'll do some photographs. So if you'd like to stand up, Colin. Moment of truth. You take it home and show the daughters and then look something like him.
I haven't got Colin